Hello all and welcome to the Australian Grand Prix, round 2 for the World Championship in FSR. I'm here with no one else than Christian Smirnoff. Say hello, Christian.
Hello everyone, welcome to this live broadcast. I haven't been commentating for a long while, but it will be a pleasure to be here again for this World Championship race. Done.
It certainly will be pretty fun to have a new co-commentator with me here tonight. I did the race yesterday and we're about to finish practice 1 off, so we will see entire qualifying 1 and qualifying 2. This definitely looks interesting right now, as Rodrigues is the fastest guy in the practice session, followed by Etsy Kirchhoff with Fredrik Nilsson in 3rd. So it looks like, just like last race, it will be between the precision guys and the twisters, and will be interesting to see if that's the case in qualifying as well.
Yeah, indeed, Rodrigues is topping the practice session on a 1:21.4. So a very quick lap time from Bono. We'll see if we can get into pole position. We'll see.
Yes, obviously pole position is the obvious qualifying he's going for tonight, I think, and that's the case for almost everyone in the top 10. So it's very competitive, this league, and it's gonna be pretty hard to predict who's gonna get pole here.
Yes, let's also remember we have a new team in this Grand Prix, Rodrigues Grand Prix, who makes a return to FSR, and we have triple world champion Bruno Marquez racing for the Rodrigues team. Now I think Q1, qualifying 1, is about to start.
Yes, qualifying 1 is definitely about to start, and have to remember that you can you have a certain amount of minutes here, and you're allowed to do as many laps as you want to during these minutes. So I think a lot of people will try to come out here at the start. As you can see, the entire line is forming up because they know they have as much, they have as many laps as they can do within those few minutes. So they want to put enough laps in so they know that they can be in the top 10 for Q2. And to those who have missed the last race, it's that the qualifying has changed from last year. Instead of having just 1 session, we now have 2, and we have 10 minutes in the first session, which is Q1, which is already on the way. A lot of people on the outlaps already, and I think Rodrigues is the first of the people on their outlaps, or Patrick DeWitt actually now. And then in Q2 you will only be allowed to do 1 hot lap, so in qualifying 2 you have to make sure you get the best of the tires, because you only have 1 lap, so you have to make it stick, but you can't be too over aggressive, because if you make 1 mistake, then that's going to be your qualifying lap.
Yes, indeed, only 1 planned up for the top 10 in Q2, but this is Q1, so every driver can do as many laps as he wants in these 10 minutes. So we'll see what happens. Patrick will be the first one to set a time lap.
Patrick DeWitt, veteran. I think actually you've raced him in the past, if I don't remember this correctly, but he's definitely a very aggressive driver, and he actually overtook people in the outlap because he wanted to be first. And that's something that's pretty common to him actually, that he's very aggressive during the qualifying stint as well in racing. So we're following Patrick DeWitt now. into this slight left-hander. But you remember if you remember last week's F1 race, a lot of people had a bit of problems in this chicane. Patrick DeWitt is doing very well. It's looking like he's on a pretty good lap. He's definitely one of the guys who will try to get into the top 10, because he usually is around there where he's fighting for one of the top 10 spots. Let's see the lap time here from now to start finish. 1:22.4. Is that enough to be into the top 10? We don't know yet. We'll have to see in a few seconds. And Fredrik Nilsson 1:21.7. So Fredrik Nilsson did a pretty good lap, and he's already out for the next one. A lot of drivers are closing in now, and Jaakko Mikkonen beat Patrick DeWitt as well. And Bruno Marquez with 1:20, with the exact same lap time as Fredrik Nilsson, Bruno Marquez. If people can watch the live time, you can see that Fredrik Nilsson's lap time is 1:21.757, and Bruno Marquez's time is 1:21.757 as well, but he has plus 1/1000th of a second, so very tight between them. I think that's as tight as you can get when it comes to sim racing.
Yes, it seems to be very tight between Twister, Precision as usual, and this time Bruno Marquez joining in Letrax Grand Prix, and he seems to be up there as he always was.
Yes, Bruno Marquez, 2009 World Champion, definitely an experienced driver, so I'm not surprised that Bruno Marquez is at the top, because he's one of the most experienced drivers in FSR, and he definitely had the pace last year as well, so we'll have to see what he can accomplish during this qualifying as well as in the race.
Yes, indeed, he's a triple world champion in 07, 08 and 09. Last year he was runner-up to Bono Hughes, and now he's returning to FSR in this second race.
Speaking of Bono Hughes still hasn't put in a lap time yet, so I'm pretty shocked about that, because he was one of the first guys out, and he must have decided to abort his lap because he made an error or something, because he still doesn't have a lap time, and that's not very good considering that there's just 5 minutes left of the session.
Indeed, I'm sure he will be able to get into the top 10 if he does a proper lap time, so we'll see what happens with him. He's one of the candidates for pole position, so we'll see. Now he's P1, I think. Yes, now Bono Hughes moves into P1, 1:21.6 is his time.
Yeah, definitely a good lap time by him, and I think he's pretty comfortable in making to Q2, but he's still going to have another go. I think Bono Hughes, Fredrik Nilsson, Bruno Marquez, and Jaakko Mikkonen are all pretty safe, as well as Blair Disley, to make it into the top 10 now to Q2. You have to remember that it doesn't matter if you're P1 or P9 in Q1, because you will have the same advantage in Q2 anyway. You have the same. It will be equal fighting in Q2 anyway.
Yes, now Patrick DeWitt moves into P9, the fast and speed car, while Mikkonen now is in P1. Jaakko Mikkonen from Precision Motorsports, 1:21.6, 27 thousandths of a second faster than Nielsen, who's now in P2. Hughes in P3. Marquez is 4th.
Yes, and it's definitely tight. Also, I noticed that Atsi Kirchhoff made a mistake on his last lap. He got stuck in some traffic, and he still hasn't posted a lap time. And he's usually one of the top 10 guys, so if Atsi Kirchhoff gets a clean lap now, I definitely think he will be able to push the other guys down a little. Yes, and Anatsi Karkov comes in at P2, and he's also, I think, pretty safe to make it into the top 10 for Q2.
Yes, right now we have Morgan Morant in P11 in the bubble. For ATR Silverline, he's the first one who wouldn't be getting into Q2, but he still has one or two more chances. So we'll see if he can get in. He was very quick in Bahrain. Also, a very good performance from Blair Disley, who is in 5th position at the moment. He was not as fast as his teammates from Too Fast For You, Twisted Racing in Bahrain, but now he seems to be quicker than his teammate David Greco in this Q1.
Yes, but you have to look between P1 and P8 is just 0.2 of a second, so very, very close, you know. Look at Morgan Mirand. He's only a little bit over 0.3 away from pole in Q1, and he's not even making it to Q2.
Yes, we actually have the top 5 in less than 0.5 of a second, so it's very, very tight in this Q1 at Melbourne.
Yes, it definitely is, and I think Morgan Morand is on his outlap right now, and he has one last outlap. Yeah, now Morgan Morand comes through the start-finish for his last hot lap. And this will be his last one because he will not have time to do another stint now because there's 1 minute left on the clock, and there's no way he can do another outlap if he does a mistake here. So this is his last shot. He's down in P12 now because Lee Morris came into P11, but he still has the same gap. He only needs half a tenth roughly to make it to Q2, and that's definitely something he can work on.
Yes, indeed. Now the closing seconds, last 30 seconds of this Q1, drivers are allowed to finish their hot laps after the time is over. Jaakko Mikkonen is in track now.
Yes, Jaakko Mikkonen on his last hot lap, it seems. Doesn't look like it's outlap at least, and definitely if it is an outlap, it's too late. He's coming into the start-finish line right now, and he didn't improve on his lap time, so no improvement there. But let's go back to Morgan Morand and see if he does anything. He's coming start-finish straight right now. He needs another half attempt to make it, and he does. P10 and steals P11 from Rasmus Tali. Let's see where Rasmus Tali is. He's further behind on the track. Rasmus Tali in P11 now, just got knocked out on the bubble. Morgan Morand got P10, and now Rasmus Tali have to give it all to make it into the P10 himself to get Morand knocked out again. A little bit of hard braking there. You can see that he's pushing really hard here, and this is he's coming out to the start-finish line right now, and he doesn't improve, which means that Morgan Morand got the final spot, and Rasmus Tali ended up on the bubble.
Patrick De Witt is also finishing his lap in a faster and speed car. Let's see, he's 13th at the moment. Let's see if he can improve. No, he stays 13th.
He definitely does, and Rasmus Tali is still driving on the track, but if I recall, the time was already 0:0:00 when he finished the last lap, so I'm pretty sure that he can't do another one.
Well, that's the end of the Q1 session then, with Jaakko Mikkonen on P1 for Precision Motorsports, The Twister Racing teammates Atze Kerkhoff and Fredrik Nilsson in 2nd and 3rd respectively. Bono Hughes P4 for Precision, Blair Disley. Too Fast for You Twister Racing in 5th. P6 for Bruno Marquez in the return of Netrex Grand Prix. 7th is David Greco, Too Fast for You Racing. Mikko Pumalainen, McCorp Racing. Jon-Erik Saxon in the Ash Aero F1 car in 9th place. And the last man in the Q2 session will be Morgan Moran for ATR Silverline. Dan, do you want to go through the rest of the field?
Gladly. Rasmus Tali on the bubble, P11 for McCorp. Lee Morris, GT Omega Racing, P12. Patrick DeWitt, Faster Than Speed, P13. Lucas Euler, Go Speed Racing Team, P14. Ala Fort, ATR Silverline, P15. Dejan Kostadinov, Faster Than Speed, P16. Rudy Van Buren, GT Omega Racing, P17. Jim Parisis, Go Speed Racing Team, P18. And Wayne White finished it off on P19 for Ash Aero F1. Wayne White actually finished 4th, I think. Fourth, I think, in the World Series race yesterday, which I also commentated. And he did a very good job avoiding collisions and stuff like that. And he got a lot of points. And obviously, him qualifying last year is not amazing, but he will have to do his best.
Yes, indeed. Now, qualifying 2, the Q2 session has started. Drivers have 5 minutes, and they can only drive one flying lap only. So one flying lap to see who has pole position here at Melbourne.
Yes, and Atze Kerkhoff was the person who was first out of the grid. So Atze Kerkhoff will be the first one to make a flying lap here, followed closely by Bono Huis. The other guy seems to have waited a little bit before going out of the pits. So I guess that means that we're gonna see Atze Kerkhoff here the first lap. He's currently still on the out lap, so he's just taking it easy right now, just managing the tires, trying to get the heat up for the flying lap, and trying to do his best to manage to be at the top.
I also want to remind our viewers that they can follow live timing from this Q2 session at FSR's website, formula-simracing.net. Sorry, formula-simracing.net/live-timing. There, or just enter FSR's website and follow the link to the live timing.
Yes, and Atze Kerkhoff is currently on his hot lap. And let's see if he does anything remotely good here. Looks like it's pretty okay. Does pretty hard with the chicanes there. I don't know if he lost any time there or gained any. It looked like he was going very hard with the chicane there. Into a slight right-hander, then followed by another right-hander that goes quickly into a left. So you want to take as much speed as you can as possible through this turner. This little turn, and then so you can keep the speed up with this very light left-hander that you can basically just accelerate out of. And then here comes the second left-right hand chicane, followed by another straight with a very easy right-hander here, so you can just keep on the accelerator, just push the throttle to the maximum. You brake here, up to 50 meters before the turn, followed by another right-hander, which is a little bit lighter. And final 2 corners is a strong left-hander, very hard to get the braking point right, followed by a right-hander, which you basically just accelerate out of, but you have to be a little bit careful not to overdo it. And the Kerkhoff comes in on 22.1. And Bono Huis slightly behind now, and he does 22.27. That means Bono Huis will not take the pole this race, and he's beaten by Atze Kerkhoff. And Fredrik Nilsson is also heading towards the start finish, it seems. I don't know if Fredrik Nilsson is on his hot lap or his flying lap. It looks like he's on his flying lap. Moran on 22.6 came in behind. Let's see Nilsson here, 22.4. So Nilsson in P3 right now.
We have Jaakko Mikkonen on his hot lap 2. Let's see the Precision Motorsports driver, who's now entering the last sector of the Albert Park circuit. Just 3 corners left, now only 2, until he finishes this flying lap. Let's see, he's in P9 without lap time at the moment, where he enters the final corner. And let's see where he qualifies. His P6, 6th place for Jaakko Mikkonen.
Yes, and David Greco on P10, obviously being the only car who hasn't done a flying lap yet, and he's on his way in sector 2 now, so he's about to finish his lap, being the last guy in. And let's see if he can threaten the top a little bit. Currently, Atsi Kirchhoff is on pole, but let's see if David Greco can maybe take that pole away from him, his sister teammate. Oh, sorry, that was just a out lap. So apparently his flying lap just started with around 12 seconds to go. His flying lap just started, so we're gonna follow him for an entire lap here, see if he does anything good. And obviously P10 is the worst position he can get now, and he's just made it to Q2. But I definitely think he's hoping for more than just P10 here. So maybe he's trying to knock out Moran, Pomalainen, Mikkonen, maybe even Nilsson and the other top guys. And let's see what position he's able to do here. As you can see, he's pressing really hard there. Almost got a little bit of a twitch on the exit of that corner. And I hope he didn't lose a lot of speed there, because that means that his lap time will be ruined, because he didn't have enough speed on the straight. Another right-hander. He takes it very well though, very hard, but he definitely is pushing. You can definitely see that he's attempting on making this lap as quick as possible. And let's see, he's about here. He's going into start-finish line. Looks pretty good. Had a pretty good exit there, and he comes out in P3 actually.
Yes, we have Atse Kirchhoff on pole position for Tristan Racing, second pole position for them, after Nilsson was the top qualifying man in Bahrain. Bruno Hughes in second place in the first row for Precision Motorsports. Second row will be for Too Fast For You Tristan Racing, with David Greco and Blair Disley in third and fourth positions. Johnny Saxon P5 for Ash Aero F1. Done.
And then Fredrik Nelson, Twister Racer in P6. Jaakko Mikkonen Precision Motorsport in P7. Mikko Pomalainen and MacCorp Racing in P8. Morgan Morand in P9. Bruno Marquez for the Netrex Grand Prix team in P10. So Bruno Marquez was the slowest one in Q2, it seemed. Surprising that Nilsson is so far off the pace compared to Atse Kirchhoff, but I guess that's the best they could do. And I know that Fredrik Nilsson had a little bit of troubles with his computer and stuff, so I know he doesn't have as much lap times in as he was hoping to.
Yes, an interesting thing is indeed, as you said, Kirchhoff quicker than Nilsson this time. We saw Nilsson on pole position last time out. Another interesting thing is the very good performance from Too Fast For You Twister. Blair Disley was not in this kind of pace in Sakir. Now he's in P4. Mikkonen in 7th is not in as good position as in Bahrain. And yes, Bruno Marquez in P10, as he said, probably not the qualifying he expected for his return, but I'm sure he can do a good race. He's probably one of the best racers in FSR, so no doubt he can have a strong result.
Definitely. And as you can see, very tight between Blair Disley and Jan-Erik Saxen. They actually had the same gap. It's less than 1,000 of a second between P4 and P5 in qualifying. So I'm sure Jan-Erik Saxen is not satisfied that he couldn't just push a little bit so it so you could get those extra 1,000 of a second. It's so little you can't even. It's impossible to count, and that's the difference between being P4 and P5 in this race.
Now drivers will start the warm-up session, where they have 10 minutes to practice with the race setups, to get ready for the race with heavy fuel. We'll see who has the best race pace here at Albert Park. Race will be starting in only 10 minutes.
Yes, as you can see, the grid is already lining up with a bunch of cars who wants to get the warm-up ready. Some people are not focusing that much on that yet, but still.
There are a few drivers driving very close to each other, maybe even practicing some battling for the race. I saw Lee Morris very close to one of the position drivers who passed Lee Morris in one of the first turns of the circuit.
Yes, definitely, and you have to remember that this is a great opportunity to practice not only overtaking but also practicing slipstream, how the car handles when you're behind another car, because when you do race testing alone, you can't really test that, because obviously you have no one in front. When someone is in front, the balance of the car might change, by a mile, a lot. So they have to really, test this before the race if they haven't done it so already, so they know which braking lines they have to do. Also, where they can try to overtake, how it's, the best way to defend and stuff like that. Definitely be interesting to see here, because the warm-up usually shows the racers' race pace. Sometimes race pace differs a lot from quali pace, and we'll definitely see that tonight with a lot of people. Also, could be different strategies come into play as well. Some people could have been qualifying on medium tires, some people on softs. And that could be maybe the reason why Bruno Marquez, for instance, was so slow, because he has maybe a harder tire choice than the people at the front.
Yes, let's remind our viewers that on Q2, on the Q2 session, they have to use the same setup they use in the race session. They only can change a few settings, but tire compound is the same they have to use in the start and the whole race. So they have to choose the right compound and use it from Q2 onwards. So obviously that might have made a difference to Q2 pace from the different driver.
As you can see, Jaakko Mikkonen and Bono Quiz did the fastest lap so far in the warm-up session. Obviously, some people could be sandbagging here. Not everyone wants to show the real pace here. So sometimes you see people who seem very slow in warm-up, and then all of a sudden in the race they're one of the fastest cars. So that's because they usually take it easy on warm-up and try to make them not look like a threat instead of trying to make themselves look like a threat to other racers here.
Yes, that happens. Not sure what's the reason for that sandbagging. I mean, in earlier days when we had refueling, drivers used to have different paces due to different strategies. So it was very important not to show your competitors the strategy you had, the amount of fuel you had in the car. Now everyone has fuel for the whole race, so the only strategic difference can be the tire compound or the amount of tops you make for new tires.
Yes, and also you might also you don't want to show maybe things like your top speed or your race pace, because if you show them that you have a very fast race pace, they might try to defend extra hard against you because they know you're a faster guy than them. While if you're slower, they might not be too worried because they know they can take you in the pits anyway.
Yes, I just saw David Greco who spun off in the final sector, but he seems to be very quick anyway. He's in P4 in this warm-up session. Just less than 5 minutes until the race starts. Tension building up here in Melbourne. We still have Jarkko Mikkonen on P1. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, the race will be 58 laps long, and in 5 minutes the formation lap will start. And formation lap is basically a lap where you test your settings and see if everything is okay with the car, and then you park it into the start-finish line again. And after that, the red lights turn on. Once they're all off, the race will start.
Indeed, if we have a look at the top 10 of this warm-up session, we see a few drivers who seem to be quicker in this session than in qualifying. We see Mikko Pumalainen from Mack Corp Racing in second place, Marquez in the top 5, Rasmus Tally, who couldn't get into Q2, he's in 7th, De Witt from Fast and Speed in 8th, and we see Lucas Euler from Go Speed Racing in P10. So there are a few of the candidates that are not in the top 10 in this session. For example, Atse Kerkhoff, our pole sitter, in 11th place at the moment.
Yes, currently driving in the grass. I saw him on my little TV. I have here a little monitor, and he doesn't seem to have found the rhythm yet, and that's pretty shocking, since he's usually one of the guys who just manages to drive one lap and then he knows perfectly what to do. But here it seems to be like he's not really finding the correct braking points, etc. with the race fuel.
Despite the heavy race fuel, we still have 6 drivers in less than 1.5 tenths of a second. Bruno Marquez is in P6, less than 1.5 tenths slower than Jarkko Mikkonen. Very tight field in this race.
Yes, it definitely is, and we'll have to see if this. We're always hoping for a clean start, but if you saw the race yesterday, you know that 14 cars were involved in an accident the first lap. So we hope that it's not going to be that many in this race. The 2-minute warning is up now, so you have to be careful in the first lap. As you can see, just 1 minute left of the qualifying session. I mean the warm-up session, of course, not qualifying. And Jakob Mikkonen is first with Greco in second. So Greco finished, now Bono Quiz is the fastest car, so pretty shocking that Kirchhoff is still just in 12th place. But maybe he is testing some different setups. Maybe he's testing, you know, how to pit, when to pit entries and stuff like that. That doesn't actually give him a lap. Now Atsi Kirchhoff came into P1 instead. So the warm-up session now looks pretty close to the qualifying, with Atsi first and Bono Quiz second, and Mikkonen, Greco, Pomalainen and Nilsson at the top, you know, with Marquez and Morand and DeWitt and Tali slightly behind.
Last few seconds of this warm-up session. Mikko Pomalainen, the race director, getting everything ready for the start. Only a few seconds now before the race starts in these World Championships. Australian Grand Prix at Melbourne.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Drivers have 30 seconds now to move into the grid for the start of this formation lap. And we will have this Australian Grand Prix here in this live coverage by PSR TV.
We definitely will, and to remind everyone, the pole sitter was Atsi Kirchhoff for Twister Racing, with Bono Quiz in second place for Precision, David Greco in P3 for Too Fast For You Twister, Led Isley, his teammate in Too Fast For You, John-Eric Saxen for Ash RF1 in P5, in P6 we have Fredrik Nilsson for Twister Racing, P7 Jakob Mikkonen for Precision Motorsports, in P8 Mikko Pomalainen for MacBot Racing. In P9 we have Morgan Moran for ATR Silverline. And finishing off the Q2 was Bruno Marquez for Networks Grand Prix. Take away the rest of the groups, Smirnoff.
Okay, thanks. In P11, Rasmus Tali, MacBot Racing. 12, Lee Morris, GT Omega Racing. 13th is Patrick DeWitt, Fast and Speed. 14th, Lucas Euler, GoSpeed Racing Team. In 15th place, Alar Fort, ATR Silverline. Dian Kostaninov, 16th for Fast and Speed. 17th for GT Omega Racing, Yuri Van Buren. Jim Parisis, 18th for GoSpeed Racing Team. 19th, rounding up the grid, Wayne White for Ash Aero F1.
Yes, and we managed to take the entire grid before the formation lap was done. And as you can see, people are trying to warm up their tires right now. And obviously very important to get the tires in the correct heat, and as well as coming out off the line. You have raced before. How important is it to come off the line without too much wheel spin?
Yes, it is actually very important, but drivers have a launch control system. So that makes it a bit easier. They still have to make a good start at the right time. So we'll see what happens before turn 1. And of course, let's hope there's no incidents in the first turn. Now Kirchhoff reaching his grid box. We are only seconds away from the start.
Yes, and will definitely be interesting to see how well people will get off the grid here.
Okay, lights are on, 5 lights, and we are off. Kirchhoff, P1. Bono Hughes makes a very good start. And also David Greco having a go. Greco slightly off.
And Disney's engine stalled. I think Disney came back up. Disney's last, I think it was P4, and and now he's in 19th place, last of them all. And I think he has somewhat of an injured car. Not completely sure, but it looks like he has a flat tire, or maybe his engine is overheating.
Yes, now Kirchhoff. Kirchhoff from P1, Greco. Second. From second Greco, third is Bono Hughes. Fourth place for Saxon. Nikkonen, P5. Nilsson, 6th. 7th is Kumulainen. Now we have a fight between Tully and Moran for P8. Moran trying... No, he cannot do it here. Well, quite close between Kumulainen and Tully.
Yes,
Moran
and Tully and Moran are still fighting here. Let's see what happens here. Tully had done a very good start, because he started in P11 after all, and he's already up in P8, so very good start by Rasmus Tully.
Top 3 are also very close to each other. Nice battle between the top guys in this race. Less than half a second between Kirchhoff and Greco in the lead of this race.
Yes, definitely, and it looks like John-Eric Saxen in P4 is the guy who doesn't really hang on with the top 3 here. As you can see, John-Eric Saxen is actually losing time to the top 3 guys right now. And he's 1.3 seconds behind, and it looks like he doesn't really have the pace of the top 3 guys right now.
We have a nice fight going on for P14 between Alar Fort and Lucas Euler. Euler makes it pass, yes, he makes it stick. Oh, and there's contact now. Costadino also tries to have a go.
Yeah, Costadino on the outside. He takes them both.
Yeah, he does.
Very good job. As well as Blair Disley now in P18. He spun the first lap and got into lap. He's already caught the guys who are ahead, so Blair Disley must be very fast here. And I think Blair Disley will be one of the guys who try to fight through this pack of wolves basically that's in front of him. You know, a huge pack of 7-8 cars.
There was a very close situation there between Lee Morris and Patrick DeWitt into turn 1. Lee Morris almost spins and Patrick just manages to avoid him. They are both in P12 and P13 now. No contact between them, fortunately.
Entire grid hanging on pretty well with each other right now, and it looks like Saxen is just 1 second behind still, so it looks like Saxen is actually being able to hang on now. So maybe that was just the first lap, maybe he had problems with the tires, maybe they were cold or something, that's why he didn't hang on. Now it looks like he's hanging on very well to the top guys as well. And looks like Blair Disley is attacking Kim Parisis for P18 very hardly now. You have to remember Blair Disley was P4 in qualifying, spun the first lap, and now is catching up to the top guys again. You'll see the back markers a little bit.
Let's see if we can have a go at the first corner. He seems to be a bit far behind. No, he won't be able to make it this time. We will have to wait for another opportunity.
This Bonnefuis in P3 is also getting very close to David Greco now. David Greco will have to look in his rear view mirrors and defend. As well as you can see, as Kirchhoff is now building a gap from David Greco.
There's also an interesting fight for 12. Oh, and Patrick DeWitt is off. Patrick in the Fast and Speed car is off the track, now returning in last place.
Yeah, Blair Disley gained a position there, I guess, and he's definitely still looking in Jimmy Paris's. Jimmy Paris can still see him in his rear mirrors, and look how close Disley's now. He's going for the inside. Oh, he went back. Fight for P17 right now. Let's see if he does anything here on the start-finish straight. Obviously, it's very hard to overtake Jim Paris because Jim Paris has cars in front too, which means that Jim Paris has a slipstream on guys in front, even though he's being attacked by Blair Disley.
Another interesting train of cars. In P4, John-Eric Saxon, Mikkonen is close enough in 5th place. Nilsson also wants to have a go. And both Mark Corp Racing drivers from Alanin and Tally also trying to get close to that battle. Marquez also close enough on P9 Moran in his Network's car. Bruno Marquez still in 10th place.
Yeah, definitely looks like Bruno Marquez will have a go at Moran in the next few laps because he's been following Moran very heavily the last couple of laps, and looks like he has some more grip than Moran has right now.
Bono Hughes in 3rd place, still very close to David Greco. Just Greco looking up less than 1 second between the Italian and the 2010 World Champion. Now there's only 6:10 between Greco and Hughes. Yes, Dan, go ahead.
As you can see, it seems to be that John-Eric Saxen is the guy who's slowing Mikkonen and Nilsson down a lot. And obviously Nilsson is even trying to have a go on Mikkonen here. Well, he decided to stay behind for the chicane. But now Nilsson is looking very aggressive on Mikkonen here. And Twister and Precision was fighting all year last year, and it seems to continue this year with fighting each other for positions here on track.
All 19 drivers still on track, no retirement after the opening 5 laps. Kharkov leading from Greco, from Hughes, from Saxon, from Mikkonen. Nilsson in 6th place, Kumalainen 7th, Kali 8th, Morand in 9th place, Bruno Marquez 10th, Lee Morris 11th. His teammate Van Buren is 12th and very close to his GT Omega teammate. Kostenino 13th.
As you can see, Lee Morris in P11 is actually, I think, slowing down his teammate Van Buren here, as well as Kostadinov, so it looks like they have more pace. And Kostadinov actually made a mistake there. Looks like Lucas Euler will have a go here for P13. Look at that, Lucas Euler and Ian Kostadinov here. It will be very tight here. Kostadinov did a mistake in the braking, but it doesn't look like he will lose the position here. He got the chicane. But Euler didn't have lost so much of his balance when he was behind Kostadinov, so he missed the exit completely off of the chicane. And now he's over half a second behind again.
Yes, when we watched that battle, there was a very close call between Jim Paris and Blair Disley for P17. Disley almost hitting the barriers while trying to pass the Go Speed driver. Now it looks like Jim Parisis is going to have a go at Wayne White into turn 1, but it's not enough for Parisis.
Yes, Australia is a very hard track to overtake on. We see a lot of fighting, I think, and definitely very hard to overtake since the straights are so short here, as well as like it's very hard to overtake, for instance, Disley to overtake Parisis because Parisis is such a slipstream in front, so it's not like Blair Disley has a big advantage with this slipstream when Jim Parisis also has a slipstream with the car in front with Wayne White.
Bono Hughes in third is closing the gap to Greco. It's now closer than ever before. Just half a second between them. Will Bono Hughes attempt to pass the Italian in the next few laps? We'll see. Interesting battle between them.
So Bono Hughes to the inside line now, but it doesn't look like he's close enough to be able to overtake. No. So continue another lap, and obviously Kirchhoff is hoping that Greco will start defending instead of trying to keep up the pace, because obviously if Greco is defending against Quiz, it will slow down both their lap times. It will be a big advantage for Kirchhoff in front.
Oh, there's Kostelinov spun. Kostelinov spun on the fast and speed car. There was contact with another driver, not sure who it was.
Looks like Wayne White, because he lost a lot of positions too.
Contact between Patrick and Jim Parisis.
Yes, I think Patrick was attacking Jim Parisis again, and this time he had enough, and basically they touched a little bit.
Van Buren. Sorry, Van Buren is out. Rudy Van Buren in the GT Omega car is out. Yes, he spun. He spun at the end of the first sector, and he hit the barriers, damaging his car. First retirement of the race, Rudy Van Buren.
So one driver out, 18 to go in this race, and it will be interesting to see if every driver will manage to finish from now on, or if a lot of people will DNF, since like we saw with the Witt and Parisis, people have had contact in this race already, so it's pretty dangerous, because if you hit each other, obviously you can both crash and then you're both out of the race, or you can get so injured that you lose so much time that you basically have no points to fight for anyway.
Yes, we saw a fantastic battle between Parisis and Patrick in Bahrain in the last race last week, but this time they made contact into turn 3, and the one who says thanks is Blair Disley, who was 19th a couple of laps ago. Now he won 5 positions and he's in P14, so he's recovering after his first lap spin.
Yes, and the gap from Bono Hughes to Jan-Erik Saxén has now increased a little bit over 2 seconds. So it's clear that it's Jan-Erik Saxén who's slowing these guys down, slowing Mikkonen and Nilsson down. I think it's very hard for Mikkonen to be able to overtake here, since it's a very hard track to overtake on. But obviously they will try their best, as well as Bruno Marquez and Moran still fighting for P9 a little bit. They're definitely growing close to each other.
Bono Hughes closer and closer and closer to David Greco, but no overtaking attempts yet. He might be waiting for the stops, or he might try to get closer and have a go at the Italian. We'll see.
Oh, I think waiting for the stop is a bit too early to think about, because if that's what they're doing. He doesn't know how much time Greco will lose to Kirchhoff, and if Greco loses too much time and Bonaparte says, hey, I could just take him at the stops, then he might lose the chance of winning this race to Kirchhoff.
Yes, that's right. However, Greco is not slower than Kirchhoff. They are roughly on the same pace, just 1.4 seconds between leader Kirchhoff and Greco, so I don't think Hughes is losing too much time, at least not in relation to Kirchhoff. Maybe he could be faster on his own, but we cannot know that.
No, we cannot, but the thing is that maybe he decides to not try to overtake on purpose because he prefers that Greco doesn't look in the rear view mirrors and Greco can try to hang on to Kirchhoff instead of having Greco defend against Weiss, and they will both lose a lot of time compared to compared to Kirchhoff in front of him.
Yes, indeed. He's relative to Kirchhoff, it's probably a better idea not to put too much pressure into David Greco. Yes.
Because as soon as he puts a lot of pressure on David Greco will do inside lines and stuff like that to try to defend his position. And that works to defend position, but obviously Greco will lose a lot of time. And since Greco loses a lot of time, it means that Bonaparte, who is behind, also will lose a lot of time on trying to attack too hard.
Bruno Marquez now closing in on Morgan Moran for P9. The Portuguese driver making his comeback to FSR, to the World Championship. He's in 10th place at the moment in the Networks Grand Prix car, who returns to FSR after not racing in last couple of seasons. So nice to see them back, to see Ernesto De Angelis' team back in FSR.
What is the situation with this team? Does this team only have one driver, or is there another driver in this team?
In this race it's only Marquez, but I'm sure in Sepang, in Malaysia, they will have another driver in the second seat. It was probably a late decision to have the team running here in Melbourne, so that's why only Bruno is on track with the beautiful Network car.
Yes, obviously maybe this is more of a test session for Bruno Marquez, so you can see how well his setup was that he made, and maybe that's the thing he's doing, that's just trying to get a few points and seeing how strong the team is. David Greco won't have to defend here because Bonaparte is very, very close to the start-finish straight. It doesn't look like, I think Bonaparte twitched a little bit on the exit of the start-finish straight, so I think he lost a little bit of the speed there, and that's what made him lose time on the straight to David Greco.
Yes, and Greco seems to be pushing rather than defending because he's also getting closer to Kirchhoff. They are both getting closer to Kirchhoff. They are both the top three drivers in 1.5 seconds. So they are both getting close. Let's see if Hughes tries to overtake, if he stays behind, or if Greco can challenge Kirchhoff for the lead.
Definitely, and we have to remember that David Greco and Atsi Kirchhoff are sister teammates. They're not in the exact same team, but they are definitely, you can call them teammates, but Bonaparte doesn't have his teammate in the top. He's in 5th behind, stuck behind Jan-Erik Saxen, which is very sad for Mikkonen, of course. But Bonaparte will attack as much as he can, but the question is, will Greco focus on defending if Bonnequist attacks, or will David Greco try to keep up with Ati Kirchhoff? What will be his priority?
Yes, now it seems like Hugh is a little bit farther behind, maybe letting his engine cool down a little bit, not getting too much wear in his engine, in his brakes.
Yes, and Mikkonen and Nielsen still stuck behind Jan-Erik Saxen. Jan-Erik Saxen is really trying to do some defensive lines now, so it looks like Mikkonen was trying to overtake him before, but now Mikkonen lost some time to Jan-Erik Saxen, it seems, again.
Yes, and there's also another very interesting fight between Alar Fox and Blair Disley for P13, the ATR Silverline driver, defending from the Too Fast for You Twisting Racing driver, who is recovering after his first lap spin. Oh, very close there before the chicane. Now in the last sector of the track, where it is actually very difficult to have a go at another driver, he will have to wait at least until turn 1. Let's follow them and see what happens. Oh, and we have Fox locking up his brakes into the last corner, but this is too far behind. Alar Fox has good top speed on his ATR Silverline car, so he defends easily from Blair Disley into turn 1.
Definitely seems that way, that the Twister Racing team doesn't have a lot of speed on the start-finish straight, so maybe that is what makes it so hard for them to try to overtake on this track.
Oh, and the battle for P2 between Greco and Hugh is again getting very, very tight. Just 4 tenths between them. Hugh is closer than ever to David Greco. Can he try to overtake the Italian? Big lockup from Hughes into the penultimate corner of the track.
Yes, I definitely think he lost some time there. I don't think he can overtake on this straight because he's too far behind because of that brake lock on the last corner into the start-finish straight.
Let's take a look at the fastest lap times from the top drivers. Kirchhoff in the last lap, his fastest 25.9. David Greco 25.9 also, just a little bit quicker than Kirchhoff in the last lap. Bono Hughes 25.8. He's the fastest man at the moment on track. Fastest lap on lap 15.
Yes, very interesting. Definitely looks like Bonnequist does have the pace to fight with the top guys, but obviously he's stuck behind Greco and Kirchhoff, so we don't know how fast Bonnequist is here. He lost the position at the start, and doesn't look like it's a track that is easy to overtake on. You notice that Jan-Erik Saxen is slowing the guys down because Pumalainen was over 2 seconds behind Fredrik Nilsson earlier, and now it's down to 1.3, which means that Pumalainen is catching Nilsson, but actually he's catching Jan-Erik Saxen because Jan-Erik Saxen is holding Mikkonen and Nilsson down in lap times.
Yes, however, P5,
Nilsson has a go.
Nilsson trying to pass, very close, but no overtake. Now he tries from the outside. No, it won't be possible for Fredrik Nilsson trying to overtake Mikkonen for P5.
Attack doesn't have to be over yet. He's still very, very close. He's still hanging on, 0.2 of a second behind in that sector, so definitely still close enough to try to overtake it.
Yeah, and the one who will be happy about this battle is John Eric Saxon, who has a bit of a gap now. He's holding up. He was holding up the guys behind before, but he's only 5 seconds behind the lead. So they are all on a very similar pace. From P1 to P8 in 9 seconds is the gap. In 10 seconds we have top 9. So very close battle for P4 and a very tight race among this field.
It might be closing to Nilsson's first pit stop if he's on soft, so maybe that's why he's pushing so hard, because he realized that his tire is about to run out and he wants to get in front before his pit stop so he can stay in front when Mikkonen does his pit stop.
Now Greco is closing in on Ansel Kirchhoff, just 7/10 between the leader and the Italian. Hughes is also very close in P3, so the top 3 guys very close to each other, fighting for this Australian victory in this FSR World Championship race.
This will be interesting to see in the pit stop if someone will try to leapfrog, or if they will pit in roughly the same lap. It will be interesting to see who will pit first of the top 3 guys, as well to see who will pit first between Saxen and Mikkonen and Nilsson, who's fighting for P4 it seems. Top 3 within a second now, so the top 3 guys are less than 1 second away from each other, so very very close into the start finish line there.
I believe that Alar Fott went into the pit lane in the last lap. He's now in 18th place. So he's the first man to stop in this race.
Yeah, so definitely looks like he's on a 2-stop strategy here. Could mean that the other people on 2-stop strategies will come in soon, depending on how many there are. Also, it will be interesting to see who are on 2-stoppers and who are on 1-stoppers here.
Yes, I believe most drivers will be doing only 1 stop, probably with medium tires. Maybe some of them can actually make softs last. They have to make them last about 29 laps for a 1-stopper. It's quite difficult, but not impossible. Let's see how strategies pan out.
Yes, and it's obviously it's going to be very hard to overtake on this track, as we mentioned before. Not only because the straights are very short, but because these drivers are very talented and they are very good all at making setups. So I think they have very similar setups, which means that they have roughly the same speed at the straights, which makes it very hard to overtake.
Yes, we've seen very few passing attempts, which is strange and probably a consequence of the characteristics of this Albert Park track, which is almost a street circuit, so it's very difficult to pass, because we see most drivers very close to each other, but no passing movements.
Yeah, it will definitely be interesting, and I think we're actually closing in with the 1-stop, this first stop right now, because if you think about it, you usually don't stop on lap 29 because the car is heavier than the first stint. So you usually stop a bit earlier and make the second stint a bit longer because the tires hold much better when the car is much lighter and the car has less fuel in it.
Yes, those who pit earlier will have fresher tires, will be able to go quicker, but of course they will have the difficult task of carrying all tires in the second stint for many laps. So it's a compromise between being quick earlier in the race and struggling at the end.
Yes, and the question is only, do you prefer to struggle in the end or do you prefer being quick in the beginning or in the middle of the race? Because you have to think that you can get out in traffic if you pit early as well, and that's not very good. So you have to be very careful to make it when you have clear air and try to overleap the guys in front of you. Because when you're in front, even if they pit one lap later than you, I don't think that will matter so much that they can get the position back, because this is a very hard track to overtake on, and I think the best strategy is to try to pit on the correct spot when you can get clear air and try to make the tires last for the second stint while pulling away from the guys who are behind.
Yeah, definitely. If you time your pit stop right, pitting early gives you a better track position. You can gain a few places after the rest of the drivers you're competing with do their pit stops. But yes, indeed, it's a problem at the end of the race where if you have worn-off tires, it will be difficult to defend from the drivers who come from behind with fresher rubber.
Yes, it's definitely differs. It also differs, you know. You prefer to be the guy who's slow at the last stint, defending position, or you prefer being the guy who's fast at the end of the stint and attacking. And that's different from driver to driver. Some drivers prefer to be in front and defend position, and some drivers prefer to be behind and have much fast cars so they can try to overtake and pull away instead.
Now let's go back to the fight between the top three. Hugh is again very close to David Greco, but the story continues in a similar way. Hugh is getting very close but not trying to overtake the Italian, or at least not being able to.
I think it's more not being able to than not being trying right now, to be honest. It looks like he's been trying, to be honest. He's tried to take the inside line and start finish straight sometimes, but he's just been too far behind to be able to do anything against the position. As you can see, David Greco starts to lose some time again. That's the Kirchhoff, and now it's 1.2. And obviously this helped Atsi when the pit stops come. So he's hoping to... Atsi's probably pushing now, try to build the gap before his first pit stop.
Yes, and I think it is working out pretty nicely for them, because you see Hugh is trying to put a good amount of pressure to Greco, but they are still close to Kirchhoff. They're still lapping on the same pace, so they can keep on fighting without losing too much time, which is important for them if they both want to fight for the win.
Yes, it definitely will be. We're in our 24th lap right now. So Atsi Kirchhoff still first. And actually Greco managed to get some time back. Now it's 0.9 again. So Kirchhoff not being able to pull away here, it seems. And Blair Disley has caught Lucas Euler as well and tried to overtake Lucas Euler on the start-finish straight. As you can see, Blair Disley is very, very close to Lucas Euler here. But I think he spun a little bit, half-spun a little bit. But Disley is for P12 now. Disley is trying to hang on. No, the car is just not fast enough on the straight for Disley.
Dan, you've said before that David Greco was closing in on Kirchhoff again, and that's right, because he's just set the fastest lap on at 1:25.6, so that's why he's climbing some time from Maxi Kirkhoff, who's been just 2/10 slower in 25.7. So interesting battle, very close times among the top 3 drivers in this race. Now he is very close and behind David Greco, who is going into the pit lane. Pit lane for David Greco. He's the first from the top 3 to stop at the end of lap 25. David Greco now dropping several positions. Let's see. I think it should be his only stop of the day. He's going out in 7th place, ahead of Moran, because Pumalainen and Bruno Marquez are also stopping. Pumalainen and Bruno Marquez on the pit lane too.
Yes, it will be interesting to see if Atsi Kirkhoff and Bono Huis will respond to this pit stop, or if they will go another few laps. I think it's very dangerous for both Atsi Kirkhoff and Bono Huis to continue racing here, because obviously Greco will be faster than them, and Greco has 4 seconds to the next person. I mean 7 seconds to the next person in front with Rasmus Tali, so Greco has definitely some clear air to be able to pull away with some good lap times.
Yes, David Greco has 3 track ahead. He timed his pit stop extremely well, so now Kirkhoff and Hughes will have to respond if they do not want to lose the position and lead this race against Greco with pressure tires. Let's see Kirkhoff. He's pitting, yes, he is. Also in the pits, Atse Kirkhoff and Bono Hughes both are going into the pit lane. Let's see Saxon. Saxon is also pitting. So Mikkonen will take the lead. Jack Mikkonen now is the new leader. Of course, not having done his stop yet. Kirkhoff goes out in 3rd, and he's ahead of Greco, and oh no, contact, and Greco spins. Oh no, contact between Bono Hughes and David Greco. Greco now seems to be, his car seems to be okay. Let's see if he has no damage, but at least no lost parts of his car.
Yes, but still a huge disadvantage for Greco. And if you saw the lap time on the sector last time, you saw that Greco was indeed in front of Huis when they came out of the start-finish line. So it looked like Greco was first into that corner, but I don't know really what happened there. But now Greco lost a lot of time. This means that the people who stops behind, people who stop, John-Eric Saxen is actually catching up with Greco now, because Greco obviously lost a lot of time, and this means that even drivers like Mikkonen and Nilsson and drivers like that also might be able to gain a position on David Greco.
Yeah, actually now Mikkonen and Nilsson both in the pits, so Kirkhoff will retain, or actually will take the lead of this race. At Kirkhoff again in the lead, Bono Hughes in 2nd, and I'm not sure what happened between Hughes and Greco. It seemed like Hughes exit the pits. The pit exit line is very close to the right hand side. When Mikkonen very close to John-Eric Saxon in the pit exit. Now he's trying to overtake. Contact! Contact between Saxon and Mikkonen, but Saxon keeps the position in P4. I was saying that the pit exit is very close to the right hand side of the track. There's very little space to turn into turn 1, so it's a dangerous exit. And well, we saw what happened between Bono Hughes and David Greco, who is now 6 seconds behind the lead, so it will be difficult for him to recover the lost ground.
Yeah, so it definitely looks like the win is between Atsi Kirkhoff and
sorry, but Tali has hit Pumalainen. Tali ran into Pumalainen, his teammate. Disaster for McCorp Racing. Sorry to interrupt you. He's still in 8th position, but he has lost a lot of time after spinning by touching Kumalainen, his teammate.
Yeah, and definitely close, and would be interesting to see again Sarsen being caught up with Mikkonen. So Sarsen did the wise move here, getting one lap earlier instead of staying out. And I think that's the mistake that both Mikkonen and Nielsen made, that they didn't hit a lap 24-25 but wait until 26-27 instead.
Both Kirchhoff and Bono Hughes in lapping in 24.6 in the last lap, so they are much quicker with new tires. Just half a second between them, and David Greco in third, lapped in 1:25.0, so he seems to be 4/10 slower. Not sure if it is damage related or not. We will find out when he finishes the next lap. Hughes is very close to Kirchhoff now. He wants the lead. Now he's not fighting for second, he's fighting for the lead of the race. Bono Hughes, 24.4, his fastest lap, and he's getting closer and closer to Kirchhoff. Greco lapped in 24.6, so his car seems to be okay, or at least not heavily damaged. What happened to Disley? Oh, I think Disley is out.
It looks like Disley crashed.
Meanwhile, Patrick DeWitt stopping. He's now in P16. Oh, and a very close call with Wayne White in the Aero F1 car. Again, trouble at the pit exit. It was very close. Luckily, no contact between them. Now Patrick around the outside trying to overtake Wayne White.
Yes, and most people have made their first and most likely only stop, and Saxon still holding up this group with Mikkonen and Nielsen, and they're very close now on start-finish straight. And Mikkonen spins a little bit and he gives the position away to Fredrik Nilsson. So Nilsson is now up in P5. With Mikkonen tried to overtake Saxen but braked too late and gave the position away to Fredrik Nilsson.
Yeah, definitely. That's a risk you run when you are trying to overtake while you have also another car attacking you behind. So Mikkonen now lost the position to Nielsen, and it won't be easy for him to get it back, I guess.
Yes, obviously now Nielsen will also try to attack Saxen, and maybe we will see now if Nielsen can attack Saxen better than Mikkonen, who had the entire first stint and didn't manage to overtake Saxen. We haven't actually seen Nielsen trying to overtake Saxen before.
Bono Hughes closing up on leader Kirchhoff. Just 4/10 between the young Twister driver and Bono Hughes, the reigning world champion. Hughes seems to get close as he used to do with Greco before, but again he doesn't seem to have the top speed to get close enough to Atsi Kirchhoff. We'll see, he wants to win. He won last time out in Bahrain. He wants another victory.
Yes, definitely, and he's hanging on to Atsi Kirchhoff very well here. Atsi Kirchhoff not being able to pull a gap, so that means that the precision and twister cars are very even here, both at the top and in P5 and P6, so close to each other.
17 cars still running, only 2 retirements. Blair Disley just a few laps ago, Rudy Van Buren in the first few laps after spinning off. So most of the grid still on track. A very clean race so far, other than a few contacts on the pit exits, but otherwise a very clean but also eventful race, because we have another nice one going on P4 between Saxon, Nilsson, Nikkonen. Now Nilsson getting closer to Saxon as is before. Now Nilsson will have the chance to have his go at John Eric Saxon. Will he be able to make it? Let's see.
It seems like he's currently just trying to stick as close as possible behind him instead of overtaking. I think he's just trying to get that line later on, maybe into the next few corners here. Looks like he's trying to stick behind him into the right-hander here. And if he can get a good pace out of here, he might just try to overtake him on straight here. I think it's a bit too early that. Yeah, he's hanging on very, very well, and you see Saxen locking up his brakes constantly. That he's very worried now about Fredrik Nilsson, and Fredrik Nilsson has a higher straight pace here, but stays behind him in the chicane. I think Saxen is getting more and more worried about Fredrik Nilsson.
Now very close between the leaders, Herkoff and Hughes. It was very close before entering the last sector. Now he seems to lose again before the main straight. Top speed is not really there for precision this weekend. Twister seems to have the edge on top speed, so it is very difficult for Bono Hughes to overtake. He's very close at the last section of the track, but come the final corner, he's not close enough.
Definitely isn't, and Bruno Marquez has caught up with Rasmus Tali after Rasmus Tali hit Kumalainen earlier, and Tali is losing some lap times now, and he's not catching up to Kumalainen again. He's losing time to Kumalainen slowly, so I think Bruno Marquez will have a go at Rasmus Tali for P8 in a couple of laps as well.
Yes, I saw Rasmus Tali after his spin by in the incident with Kumalainen. He hit one of the anti-cut strips, so that's probably damaged his suspension, so that's why he might not be as fast as he was before. Now he's being caught by Bruno.
That could definitely be the case. And two big fights going on here, you know, for P4, well, for P1, P4 and P8 here, so be a lot of fighting here consistently. But as we mentioned before, looks like it's very hard to overtake here, because despite them sticking so to each other, they don't seem to get it. But Nilsson is trying again on start finish straight, and he just can't do it. I mean, he's catching up and he's very close, but he can't take the line away from Eric Saxon. He can't take the inside line and break late there, because it's too big of a gap.
Yes, and the pit stop strategies haven't made a big difference either, other than the incident between Hughes and Greco. The rest of the field almost didn't change positions after the stops. Only Bruno Marquez, who is now ahead of Morand, but otherwise they are in the same order as before the stops.
Yes, definitely, but I think Marquez had a little bit more pace actually than Morand anyway, so that's what happened. And I think John-Eric Saxen was actually the smartest stopper, who stopped earlier instead of later to try to defend his position, which he did successfully, while Nikkonen and Fredrik Nilsson stayed out two laps longer, I think, or one lapper, and therefore came up behind again, and the race is basically the same. And I don't think that one lap will make a difference, and Saxen locks his brakes into the right-hander here, but Fredrik Nilsson is still not able to catch up on the straight, it seems.
Yes, Fredrik Nilsson might want to wait until Saxon has tires in a worse shape. But of course, if there's just 1 or 2 laps difference between their stops, it probably won't make much of a difference in terms of the grip each car has.
It probably won't, and Bonnequist still hanging on. Greco having a pretty lonely race right now, but he's losing time to Bonnequist and Asi Kirchhoff, so there might be some damage on Greco's car actually, we're not sure, because after all he and Bonnequist hit each other pretty hard, so it doesn't mean that Greco, just because Greco's still running doesn't mean that his car is in good shape. It could be injured a little bit, but he obviously decided better not to pit again. It's better just to continue driving this thing.
Yeah, since the incident he lost about 2 seconds, so obviously he can keep up with the pace without big problems, but obviously he's not able to get back in the fight as he was before.
Yes, and I think he's actually Greco is kind of lucky because of the fact that Saxen is defending against Nielsen and Mikkonen earlier. Because if Nielsen and Mikkonen would have passed Saxen at the start, they would have also attacked David Greco now, I think.
The gap between
Tali now seems to be pulling away from Marquez, so that fight is pretty much over. Tali now being 1.5 seconds in front of Marquez, so Marquez not being able to hang on anymore.
And the gap between Kirchhoff and Bonnequist stays in 0.4 of a second. It's very little, but at the same time it's very hard to overtake a driver who is driving so consistently as Kirchhoff is doing. At the same time, obviously a difficult feeling for Kirchhoff, a lot of pressure driving with a driver like Bonnequist so close behind you. I guess, what do you think, Dan?
I think Kirchhoff can manage very well. After all, he's done some pretty good races before in the last season, so I think, and also he's a very good driver, so I don't think he will have much of a problem against Quist on this track. I mean, if it would have been a different track like Bahrain or Malaysia, I think Bonnequist would have much more of an opportunity to overtake here with the slipstream, but a track with so short straights like these are very hard.
Yes, indeed. However, I believe this will be Kirchhoff's first WC victory, if I'm not mistaken. So, quite a big pressure for the young driver trying to take his first victory while Bonnequist, the champion, is hunting you.
Yes, and Bonnequist is now 9 tenths behind, so Kirchhoff has a little bit of a buffer zone now. Bonnequist is too far behind to be able to overtake, if he's a second behind.
No other close battles at the moment. The ones we already know, of course, Kirchhoff and Hughes, Saxen and Nielsen for P4. The group between P4 and Marquez in P9 are all quite close to each other in less than 6 seconds. So all that group is in a close battle, but no overtake attempts in those positions yet. So let's go through the results at the moment, the standings.
Just as you said that John-Eric Saxen braked his lock pretty hard now. And look at the start-finish straight. Jon-Erik Saxén on the inside line against Fredrik Nilsson, and doesn't look like Fredrik has a straight line speed. Ooh, he tries Jon-Erik Saxén, because Jon-Erik Saxén really locked his brakes when we said that was fighting for position there. So very interesting.
Yes, indeed, it seems like Nilsson showed Saxén his car, but he wasn't close enough to try to overtake. It would have been really dangerous, so if he didn't try, he got back behind. But the battle is still very close, so Nilsson might be trying to overtake, continuing to put pressure into Saxén, see if he makes a mistake. Saxén is a very experienced driver, but Nilsson is again getting very close. Now entering the last sector, both go in a good shape, so it won't be at least until turn 1. Let's see. He's very close there, but I think he's not close enough to try at the end of the straight. Now he isn't. He's far behind. He won't be able to make it this time at least.
He still looks a little on the inside though, and I think that's only to try to make Jon-Erik Saxén brake a little bit too late into turn 1. I think that's his best overtaking opportunity, is actually by trying to look at the inside line a little bit and going back, just to make Saxén scared by looking in his rear view mirrors a bit too much and then missing the brake.
Yes, and battle between them is also allowing Jaakko Mikkonen to get closer to them. And even Mikko Pumalainen isn't far behind. Rasmus Tally is also catching up to his teammate, while Bruno Marquez stays also close behind, so the group is actually getting to each other. We might have some interesting battles before the end of the race. 18 laps to go. Kirchhoff leading on lap 41 from Bono Hughes, 6 seconds behind. Greco third, 8 seconds behind. There we see Saxén in P4, Nilsson trying to overtake, but he's not able to. He's too far behind, while Patrick de Witt is out in the speed car. Another retirement for the Dutch driver, 103rd retirement of the race, after the ones of Rudy van Buren, Blair Disley. Oh, and Saxén runs a little bit wide. Nilsson is still not close enough behind him to pass. Mikkonen on P6, Pumalainen 7th, Tally close behind 9th, Marquez. In his comeback is P9, Morgan Morand in 10th place, followed closely by Lee Morris in 11th, Lucas Euler for Goldspeed in 12th. His teammate Parsis in 13th, Kostalinov in the FCS car 14th, Wayne White in P15, and our last runner is Alan Fox in P16 for ATR Silverline.
Yeah, just 6 cars remaining, so definitely looks like you have to be pretty fast to make it into the top 10 though with Morgan Mirand. Made it into the Q2 as the last points finisher here, so last top 10 finisher I mean. And Nilsson still has another go, but looks like he's just too far behind. He just doesn't have the straight line speed he needs to be able to overtake Saxén. Still hanging off pretty close behind. As you can see, the gap between Saxén and Nilsson is just 0.3 of a second, and that's even less than the gap between Kirchhoff and Puisen is half a second.
Yes, indeed. very close between them. Let's see if Nielsen can try something against Saxon. He gets very close in the chicane. Saxon defends around the inside. Let's see, Nielsen will try around the outside. No, it's not enough. He shows Saxon his light blue twister car. Both locking up into the penultimate corner. But again, once again, Nielsen is not close enough to try to pass John-Eric Saxon.
Yes, and I think that's the main problem. The start-finish straight needed to be maybe 200 meters longer or something to make some more interesting races here, because it's so short that even though you get a better exit than the guy in front, it's still not enough to be able to catch the car length that he's already in front, you know. So it's pretty easy to defend if you are the front runner here.
Yes, indeed, and if you have been watching Formula 1 this season, drivers have both cars and the DRS rear wing system at their disposal. FSR drivers have to overtake on track. No technology to overtake. They just have to pass the driver they have ahead. So it's very difficult to do so.
It's the only main differences between the races right now. Oh, Saxon braked very late there, and Bruno Marquez is out of the race. I think he just crashed. But Nielsen is very close to Saxon now. Very, very close, but it doesn't look like he has the pace. Let's see here. No, it didn't work, but maybe after turn 1 here, he's still extremely close. And he's definitely looking like he's gonna have a go here. Saxon doing a little bit of defending, but not too hard, trying to keep the line. Keeps going though. And Nielsen is very, very close, only 2/10 behind, so he's still not giving up on this position. And let's see here on how he does in sector 3, if he can still hang on and to do it again in the start-finish straight. Maybe Fred just needs to try to find a different position to take. Maybe it's the wrong move to try to do it in the start-finish straight. Maybe he has to try it somewhere else.
There he gets very close again. It seems like the chicane is the place where he gets the closest, but he's not quick enough after in the short straight to try to pass there. So he's never close enough in the main straight to try to pass into turn 1. About Bruno Marquez, it seems like he had a disconnection. He had no accident or spin whatsoever, so he just left the race without any apparent cause. So it seemed like disconnection is the cause for Marquez's retirement. Not a happy ending for his return from Nagrad's GP, but I'm sure he will be up there fighting for wins in the near future.
Yes, and Nilsson's behind Saxon. It's really the only fight here for position. Lee Morris has caught up to Morgan Moran as well for P9, but it's still a pretty comfortable gap there. It's still almost a second, so it doesn't look like it's gonna be that close anyway. And Bono Huis and Atze Kirchhoff, it looks like Bono Huis took P1 from Atze Kirchhoff. Could this be the case?
Oh, what's going on with Kirchhoff? Is he out? I don't see him on my timing screen.
Yeah. Definitely looks like he's gone.
Yes, he's out. Race leader Atze Kirchhoff is out of the race, and this will be a huge blow for Twister Racing after Nielsen suffered a disconnection in the previous race at Bahrain, starting from pole. Kirchhoff is out. Now Bono Hughes in the lead for position.
Yes, did you see if it was something that happened between the racers, or did Kirchhoff just disconnect out of the race?
It seems like Kirchhoff just vanished from the track, so it seems like a disconnection. Just the same situation as Bruno Marquez.
As you can see, Nilsson fighting for position even more now, and Nilsson is actually on his best position in World Championship. He's only finished 4th, so if he's able to overtake Saxen here, it will be his first podium of his career in World Championship.
Yes, indeed. So now Bono Hughes is leading. He seems he seems to have some luck, I believe, because he lost pole position to Nilsson in Bahrain. Nilsson had a deflection, or actually a computer failure before the formation lap. Oh, there's some problem for one of the back markers, but no problems there. At the end, Bono Hughes just passes in without any major problem. So he's leading, and now he actually finds himself in P1, going just 11 laps to the checker to win another race. So he must be pretty happy. Despite,
we're here with
yes, go ahead.
Atze Kirchhoff right now.
Hello.
So Atze, what happened?
I know the question already, and the answer is my rFactor froze. Was gone all of a sudden, and yeah, it was the end of the race. Nothing was happening anymore, and then it went back to Windows, and now I'm here. I immediately started TeamSpeak, so I could explain to everybody who is wondering about it. So it's yeah, I'll keep it to that, and I'll leave it to that.
So second disconnect for a Twister Racer driver in a row in World Championship. Doesn't look very good for Twister Racing now when it comes to constructors.
No, it doesn't. And well, it's weird that last race it happened to Nilsson from leading position, and now it happened to me. And I don't know what it was. I never had it before, and well, I don't know. It's just messed up.
Atze, hello, how are you? You seem to be leading pretty comfortably, but by only a small margin. Bono Hughes was pushing you quite hard. How did it feel from inside? Did it feel like you were under a lot of pressure, or was it easy to stay ahead of David and Bono Hughes?
Well, from the start I knew I had to surprise the first corner, and luckily I did. And well, from that moment I just saved everything I could in the car, and I was driving at 80% of what I could. I just didn't want to make any mistake, because overtaking on this track is completely impossible. I knew if they were behind me, the only way to overtake me was that I would make a mistake. So my my only task was to not make any mistakes. But yeah, apparently when I don't make a mistake, my rFactor does.
So it wasn't a disconnection because of lag, as we thought it was?
No, definitely not. It was just a game freeze. Never had it before, and on whatever league I was driving, it was always stable, and now all of a sudden it just disappeared. Everything looked perfect. I was saved. I saved just enough, easily enough. Fuel, I was carrying 10 liters too much actually, and my engine my brakes were perfect. Everything was perfect, and I was in a good rhythm. I couldn't believe my eyes. and I saw my screen didn't move anymore.
Very sad race for you, but seems like there was nothing you could do about that. Fredrik Nilsson, your teammate, is currently fighting against Jan-Erik Saxén, trying to get third position away from him. They're fighting pretty closely, but it seems like it's very hard for Fredrik to be able to overtake here. Do you consider this a very hard track overall to overtake on?
It's pretty much impossible when you're within a second of the other guy. Overtaking is almost impossible on this track because the downforce is quite high. The corners right before the long straights where you can overtake, those corners are medium speed, and you need all the downforce you have. And when you're driving in the dirty air, you just lose every downforce you have. So basically it comes down to the point that the guy in front of you needs to make a mistake, or else you won't be able to overtake at all.
Atsi, what do you think? What can you expect for the next race in Sepang? Do you think you can be again fighting for victory in the next round?
Well, next race, I haven't thought about it really yet. This week I had a lot of schoolwork to do and I didn't test that much, but luckily for me I had one lucky shot at the setup, and it was almost completely perfect after already 50 laps of practice. So my practice for this race was really efficient, and hopefully with the base we have in the setup, hopefully for next race it will be the same story. We have 2 weeks now, if I'm not wrong, but practice will be hard. We will work hard again, but I think I won't touch my computer for the next 2 days.
Okay, very sad to hear that, but wish the best of luck in the future races. There are just 7 laps left to go in this World Championship race, with Bonofis currently in first position, 10 seconds ahead of Greco. Bonofis and Greco had a touch after the first pit stop. Jan-Erik Saxén in a comfortable third now, it seems, with Nilsson a bit behind now, P4. Mikkonen P5, Timolainen P6, Rasmus Tali P7, Amran P8, Dean Morris P9, and Lucas Euler in P10. Dean Morris is pretty close to Moran, but it doesn't seem like he's close enough to be able to do an attacking move.
Yes, now
Nilsson is very close.
Yeah, indeed, he's now getting very close again to joining Saxon. But remember, they are now actually fighting for a podium spot after Kerkov's retirement, so Saxon has third place at the moment. He wants to defend its podium spot for RF1. Nilsson wants to get into the podium, which would be the first one for Christo this season, actually. Not of course, too fast for you, Trista team, who has Greco in his place in the same position he had in Bahrain. Also, Rasmus Tali is again catching up with his teammate Timolainen. Let's hope they can battle in a cleaner way this time. Last time out it ended up with contact between the teammates, so let's hope they can battle in a better way this time.
Yes, definitely. The question is, there's just 5 more laps to go. How hard can it battle? And about this whole thing that Nilsson has only 1 lap pressure tires, do you think this could matter now in the remaining last 5 laps, now that they're probably going into the phase 2, if you want to call it, of the tires?
Yes, phase 2 of the tires, like Vettel was calling it a little bit in code today in F1. Yes, I don't think 1 lap will make a big difference. Maybe we can ask Atse, if he's still here with us, whether he thinks that maybe 1 lap pressure tires can make a difference after so many laps of wear.
No, I don't think so. It depends on the driving style actually, because well, for example, this race I saw Bono was quite near me all the time, and I saw him struggling with the dirty air in my mirrors, and I knew he was wearing a lot more tire than I was. So basically that made me a bit happy. So yeah, it doesn't matter really if you have one with fresher tires. The only difference is the first lap on new tires, that is probably 2 or 3/10 of a second quicker than the second one. But then again, the out lap is much slower because when the medium or hard tires are cold, it's very hard to handle them. So the first lap of this race was pretty interesting to see how he would handle the cold tires, but I think there were no big crashes, fortunately, in contradiction to the World Series yesterday.
Yes, we have another retirement on our fourth in the ATR Silverline with an engine failure. So we have 13 cars still running. Hughes in P1, Greco second, Saxon defending his podium finish from Nielsen. Mikkonen in P5, Pumalainen in 6th place, followed by his teammate Rasmussen in 7th, Morgan Moran in 8th place, points for his team. Lee Morris in P9 and getting closer in his GT Omega car, and Lucas Euler is scoring Ghostflix's first point of the season in P10. His teammate Jim Parisis in 11th, Dian Kostaninov, just a slide, but he's still on track in 12th and closing up on Parisis. Wayne White is the last finisher in 13th place. Only 3 laps remaining for Bono Hughes to win his second race in a row in this FSR World Championship.
Pumalainen having a go at Mikkonen for P5, and they completely touch each other in there, and it looks like Pumalainen is really attacking Mikkonen very hard now.
And Dian Kostaninov in a fast and speed car has overtaken Jim Parisis for 11th, so he's now ahead of the Ghostflix driver.
Yes, but the gap for Kostaninov to be able to get into the top 10 is now too big. It's 13 seconds and there's just 3 laps left to go. So. Fredrik Nilsson again having a go at John-Eric Saxon for P3, but he's a little bit too far behind. But he's going to be very close now in Sector 3.
Again, he's not close enough to try. Very difficult track to overtake. This has probably been what we saw throughout the race. Very few passing maneuvers throughout the 57 laps. We have only 1.5 laps left for Bono Hughes, who's leading. He has a backer ahead, but it shouldn't be a problem for him. It is Jim Parisis who lets him through easily. Good job there from Parisis. And now Nilsson getting closer again before the chicane. The quick left right-hander there. But again, he's not close enough to try. Saxon goes into the inside, but not sure why. Maybe just defending his line. But he's easily ahead of Nilsson. Now he's getting closer into the last corner as Hughes is in the last lap of the race.
Yes, and Nilsson only has basically another shot here, and it's into turn 3 here, or it's in the last right-hander before the long left turn. So that's his only last two choices to try to overtake on this race, as it's the last lap. And Bono Ruiz is entering his final sector here, and looking to have another comfortable win, second win in a row for Bono Ruiz, the current world champion, defending it as good as Vettel did in the last two races. So SimRacing and F1 seems to be a lot alike these days, and Bono Ruiz is in the start-finish straight, and he celebrates here with left and right, and a win for Bono Ruiz.
Sorry, but Nilsson has overtaken Saxon. With 2 corners to go, Nilsson is now in 3rd place, and Mikael has a go at Saxon. Saxon lost a podium, his engine is smoking, maybe that's why he lost some pace. Saxon is in 4th. Second win then in this 2011 season for Bono Ruiz, championship leader, reigning world champion, and he won his second race here in Melbourne. Second, David Greco for Too Fast For You, Twister Racing. Fredrik Nilsson, just 2 corners from the finish, gets his podium finish for Twister Racing. Jornik Saxon will be very disappointed with 4th place, as he lost it in the last lap. He lost the podium for Ash Aero F1. Mikkonen P5 for Precision.
Mikko Pomalainen P6 for MacCorp Racing. 7th place is Rasmus Tali. Also MacCorp, Morgan Moran P8. Lee Morris P9 and Lucas Euler P10. Ian Kostadinov finishing P11. Wayne White P12. Tim Paris is P13, and that's all the finishers who got classified this race.
Yes, I believe it was an engine problem from Jornik Saxon. In the last lap, he lost power. That's why he lost his podium to Fredrik Nilsson. He was lucky not to lose it to Mikkonen in the last turn. So a shame for Saxon to lose a podium so late in the race. I think it was an exciting race. Maybe not too many passing moves, but I think we saw an exciting race with drivers very close to each other, and putting a lot of pressure into one another, don't you think?
Definitely, and we will see if anyone will come on here to do a little bit of a post-race interview. Normally there's someone who does it, but let's see if there will be anyone here today.
Please stay a few moments with us to find out if we can have a few of the drivers in a press conference here in this PSR TV live broadcast. I think it is a good time to thank FSR sponsors, Race Department, PSR TV, All Race, FS1, SimSync Pro.
Yes, and I do believe we have David Greco who wants to do an interview with us. So let's see if David Greco can come in here, who finished in 2nd place.
Yes, we will have David Greco's 2nd place finisher for Too Fast For You Twister Racing in only a few moments here in the broadcast booth in only a few seconds. Okay, here we have David Greco, I think. David.
Yes, hi.
Hi David, congratulations on your second place. And of course the first question is what happened in the pit exit when you had that incident with Bono Hughes. Do you think it could have cost you the win today?
Well, what happened is I misjudged the speed difference, and I just closed in too soon. What happened is that, yes, of course, I could have won if that didn't happen, but I think maybe if I was going to be there in the fight and everything, maybe all the problems of brakes at the end, and so in the end, in the misfortune, in the mistake by me, I was, let's say, was gifted this thing to get a second place without having to sweat too much.
David, did you suffer any kind of damage in that incident? We saw you managed to keep roughly the same pace in comparison to the leader Bono Hughes and Atsi Karkov before.
Well, after that, yes, I had a small damage on my right front suspension, but I was, let's say, not pushing anymore, because with that problem, with that suspension broken, I knew the tires were much faster. So I saw that behind me was John-Eric Saxon, who I thought wasn't as fast as me. So I could manage everything good. At the end, the last 6 laps more or less, I start to push again a little bit, doing all 23s just to be safe if I made a mistake or something, so that whoever was behind me couldn't catch me. No, I think I showed I had the pace of Kerko for sure. Maybe Bono Hughes was a little bit faster. What is incredible of Bono Hughes is that he doesn't make any mistake at all. I might do maybe, I don't know, a 25.6 and then a 25.9. He maybe doesn't do the 25.6, he does 25.7, but the next lap is another 25.7. So in the end, even if one lap before I gained like 1/10, the lap after I lost 3/10. So in the end, he gained 2/10. So that's the thing of Bono Hughes. He doesn't make any mistakes. So, well, congrats to him. It's like a robot or something. It just doesn't make any mistake.
David, you did a very good race last year around. Are you gunning for the championship this year, or are you just trying to get as many points as possible in the beginning?
Yes, I'm trying to just get in a lot of points. Not really giving really 100%. Also, this week on setup wise, on practice wise, I could do a little bit more of what I did, but I was happy with my pace. I knew it was a pace to be on top 5, which is my aim this year. Sadly, I'll have to go to the US to work for a bit. So while I'm there, it will be very difficult for me to race, and so I don't think I'll be able to do all races. So that means it's not possible for me to be a contender for the final win.
Okay, obviously that's very sad news to hear, but obviously it's important to get as many points as you can, and we thank you for your time David, because it's always fun to have people here on the broadcast explaining what happened in the post-race commentary.
It was my pleasure. I think it's the first time since almost 2 years being here, so that's cool.
Okay, with that, I think we will end the broadcast for today. I wish you all a very good night. Dan Rasmussen and Christian Smirnoff signing off.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you to all our viewers. It was a pleasure to commentate next to you, Dan. Thanks to our cameraman, Pedro Rodrigues. So, thanks to everyone. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next race.